Hello Bambinos, it's Bill here, your coach of the Old English Eiscue, bringing you my draft analysis for Season 3 of the TPL. So, a few quick things about the TPL you can see there. It's a singles draft league played on cart, Wi-Fi battles. Dynamax is allowed on all non-legendary mons because there are some legendaries available this season. It's a 32 team draft and it is just an awesome community of players that has a very active chat. So last season I took over a team mid-season and managed to make the playoffs, which I was very happy about. Managed to make a little upset round 1 in the playoffs, just a little upset, and then lost in the second round of playoffs against the guy who ended up coming second, so no big deal. This season we're looking to do the same thing again and make playoffs, so here's the team. And also this draft is ran kind of like an NFL fantasy league where you can retain players if you're going to refer to the Pokemon as players. So let's get right into it and show you my team and how I attained my team. So first member of the team who we retained from last season is Slowking. Now the difference this season is that Galerian Slowking is now available because this season started before Crown Tundra dropped last season. Galerian Slowking wasn't available, but now it is, and this league allows you to use both forms. So I've got Slowking, but I can bring either form that I want. I can't bring both, but I can bring either, whatever I feel is more beneficial to me. So our Psychic and Poison, or Psychic and Water type, whatever I fancy that week. Here's the stats. Notable stats is that special attack, 100 for the OG Slowking, 110 for the Galerian. 30 speed, so it's a very good Trick Room on, and that 110 speed def makes it quite a decent special wall. Although it also works as a physical wall, that 80 defense isn't that bad with a 95 HP, and then Regenerator, its ability, being able to just switch in and out and heal for 30% of your health is amazing. Quite the tanky mon. Future Sight hits so hard on this mon. Honestly, I can see myself bringing either version of this mon quite a lot this season. It depends on the matchup. If there's a lot of things that's good against water, I'm going to bring the poison one, and vice versa. Yeah, we retained this mon from last season. It cost us, I can't remember what round pick, but it did cost us a pick in the draft, and well worth it in my opinion. Let's move on to the next boy, and it is Marowak. Again, a mon that we retained from last season, did a lot of work for us last season. Again, we can use both forms, although I don't see many situations that I'll be bringing the Cantonian Marowak because the ground type doesn't offer us much at all considering both forms get Lightning Rod. So I think the only reason to bring Cantonian would be to take electric attacks. Because you get Lightning Rod, I think the Ghost Fire version is always better. Maybe there's a few matchups, but we'll see. I think the Ghost one's always better. Looking at his stats, 80 attack, but that actually doubles once it's holding the Thick Club. That gives it a mighty 160 attack stat, which it hits pretty hard with those Shadow Bones, Poltergeist, Earthquakes, all of its good stuff, Flare Blitz. But you could also run Rockhead, to not take recoil on these Flare Blitz if you don't think you need Lightning Rod that week. Another slow mon, so I've got a Trick Room mode here with Slowking and Marowak if I need it, but Marowak does just hit super hard anyway if I don't want to be in a Trick Room. Already building a bit of a core with if I want to bring Water Slowking and Fire Marowak one week, that's already the beginnings of a core, and we'll see as the rest of the team reveals itself that core only extends into our next mon. Mimikyu, another retainee from last season. I like Mimikyu in this format because in singles, Mimikyu is just great, being able to come in with a free switch in with that disguise ability, basically a free sub for one turn. I can set up Sword Stance, I can set up screens, I can mess with my opponent like Will-O-Wisp or Taunt or whatever I want to do. Looking at its stats, 105 speed def is actually respectable. It's just that 55 HP that's a bit lackluster. 96 speed is injecting a bit of speed into our team because our team does lack speed a little bit at this point. And that 90 attack is okay, but once you get Sword Stance off, it is finally doing some damage. But I like the ghost types. I like having a fairy type as well. And having that free switch in is always great. I think it was in the quarterfinal playoff match, I had to try and use the disguise to waste the last turn of Dynamax on my opponent, and it forced them to switch out because they knew that my disguise would take the hit and they'd be able to kill them. So that's the sort of thing that Mimikyu brings, you know, to the draft. And yeah, he's definitely staying. Let's check out the next one. Primarina. Now this is the first mon that we didn't retain. We're done with our retainees. This is one of the mons that I grabbed in the auction, in the free agency after draft. Nobody even tried to outbid me. I just won Primarina. I can't remember how much now. I want to say like 25, 30, I can't remember. It wasn't that much, but Primarina is now ours. Obviously, a massive special attacking powerhouse with that 1-2-6 special attack. I'm able to hit things super hard with these like Moonblasts and Hyper Voice if I want to go Liquid Voice that week. Scolds, trying to get the burns, you know. It's a super powerhouse in that respect. Not the fastest mon, not the bulkiest mon on the physical side, but pretty bulky on the special side. 116 per def is very nice, you know. I'll be able to switch into like special water moves all day, every day. This gen, it does get some extra spicy added moves with flip turn. You know, I could run like sets with like a choice set with 3 attacks and flip turn, so I can just get myself in and out if I want to. Also, Weather Ball is a new addition to this mon this gen, which very niche bring, but I think could do some work this season. There's a lot of weather teams knocking about. Yeah, Primarina is going to be one of my big hitters this week. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like my top killer, maybe. There's another one coming up that could take that spot, but Prim, I'm very looking forward to using this mon. I've not really used it in a draft before, so yeah, I'm excited. Another water type and another fairy type, sure, but valuable, very valuable. On to the next one. Vanillux. Now, I like Vanillux. I like watching Joey use Vanillux, and he inspired me to pick up this mon this season. It's such a... It's quite like single... What's it called? One-trick pony kind of deal. But, you know, what I like about this mon is the Snow Warning ability. Because, like I said, there's a lot of weather teams knocking about in this draft. And just being able to disrupt their weather... Like, I don't even want the hell... For me, I just don't want them to have their weather, you know what I mean? So that is one bonus to Vanillux. But also, being able to get Veils up, Specs Blizzards with that 110 special attack, like unable to miss in its weather, is gonna... Nothing's gonna want to switch into that, really. That is the main thing that Vanillux does, and quite excited to use it, to be honest. On its defenses, it has fair defense, 85, 95, not the best, and fair speed, 79. It's a bit of a shame it's not on that 80 mark, because there's a lot of mons on that 80 mark that would outspeed it for no other reason than it's got 1 extra speed point. But it is what it is. I'm looking forward to using Vanillux, and I think it's going to be very important to this team this season. So the next one that we picked up, right, this is a bit of a weird one, because I had Tangrowth and I sold it to Brooks, which may end up being a mistake. But I did manage to pick up the next best thing in Elderglass, very cheap in the auction. What Elderglass brings that Tangrowth doesn't is special defense. That base 120 special defense means it can tank hits for sure. And I also think it has better healing options, like they both have Regenerator. So yeah, this is another Regenerator mon. But Giga Drain, Leech Seed, you know, banger lefties on it, it's gonna, I think, be more annoying than Tangrowth. I think Tangrowth's more offensive, but Elderglass can be more annoying. It's also a spinner. I very much lacked a hazard removal last season, so bringing a spinner onto the team is kind of why I've gone for Elderglass. I could put boots on this thing, bring it in onto T-Spikes or rocks, and just spin them away, take any hit that they want to hit me with, and then get out. And because I got Regenerator, that damage meant nothing. And it's even like 90 defense isn't bad. It's just 60 HP isn't the best. But if I want to go physically defensive, I can. But obviously, specially defensive is more optimal. That is why we hired Elderglass this season, and it completes a Fire, Water, Grass core. And the way I like to play is like predictions and switching. So I like having cores, and that is why we've brought in Elderglass this season. A mon that I've never really used ever. Like for anything, not VGC, not like singles, OU, anything, never used it. So I'm quite excited to use it. And on to the next one. This is a big powerhouse pick it was my first pick of the draft. We're now on to the draft. By the time I got to the draft, I had like 2 important picks left. I had rounds 1 and 2, and then nothing until like 6 and 7, so I didn't even bother with my 6 and 7. Picked up this in round 1. I knew I wanted a bird, but Zapdos was gone. Alright, okay, I'll pick up Moltres. Moltres was gone. Alright, okay, I'll pick up Galerian Zapdos. Galerian Zapdos win. It's like, right, okay, hopefully Tornadus stays, and I'm glad it did, and we managed to pick it up. So this Mom is very, very useful. It's got its 2 forms. Most people would think that the Therian is the only form to use, but I reckon a sneaky physical Defiant Thundurus could come in clutch in some weeks. I couldn't tell you when, because I don't know yet, but I think it could. I've got the stats here, they're a bit different. The left-hand stats are Therian, the right-hand stats are the Incarnate. The difference being the Therian, the bird, is faster and more bulky. So this has got 80 AC 90 on defenses and then 121 speed compared to the 70 AC 111. So the bird is faster and more bulky, whereas the Incarnate form is actually more offensive. That 115 compared to the 100 attack and the 125 compared to the 110 special attack means it is more offensive. But I like the Therian form because it gets Regenerator. That completes my triple regen core with the Slowking, Elderglass and Tornadus. Means I'm just going to be like, hopefully, impossible to kill and just like relentlessly annoying, switching in and out, getting my regen. Bang a pair of boots on this thing, come in and defog. I can Tailwind, I can U-turn for the pivot. Plus just hitting things with like massive like 110, 125 hurricanes. Plus it gets quite decent coverage, you know, it gets like Sludge Bomb, Heat Wave, a few Psychic type moves. It's got some nice coverage. Gets Knockoff, Taunt, it gets a lot of good stuff, and I'm very excited to use this season. This is going to be one of my main brings as well, I think. I'm looking forward to this very, very much. I think it complements a lot on my team, like my switch-ins and whatnot. And yeah, not much else to say about Tornadus. So our last mon is Bisharp. I needed some physical offense on this team, and Bisharp definitely offers that with that 125 base attack, being able to sword stance up, massive knockoffs, priority and sucker punch. So like, even though it's got like a mediocre speed of 70, if I just SD up somehow and then start firing off sucker punches, things aren't going to want to take +2 sucker punch. Hell no. So it's got like a decent Fizz Def of 100. Obviously you don't want to be taking any fighting type moves like whatsoever, but I think I can switch it in like on rock moves that might be targeting Vanillux or Tornadus, possibly ice moves that might be targeting Elderglass or Tornadus, you know. So it's definitely got its value there as well. I love Bisharp. Bisharp's like one of my favorite mons to use. It's just like very hard hitting, very hard to switch into, and you don't want to come in and try and like intimidate or hit it with any moves that have secondary effects. Like maybe Earth Power you'd try and hit it with, which would probably kill, but if it didn't, and you give me that Speed Def drop, which gives me Defiant and makes me go to +2, yikes, you just don't want to be taking that. So that is where Bisharp's value lies, and he is the final mon on the Eiscue's team this season. So here they all are. Boom. This is the team for this season. I'm super excited to get games going. I'm actually going to try and get a few exhibition matches done before the season begins, just against some of the guys that I don't actually play in regular season, to try my team out, get used to handling them, and get this season rolling. I'm super excited, going to be busting out the content. Let's get it. Come back next week where I have my week 1 match versus Brooks, and both D's Nuzleafs is his team name. And let's get a good start to the season. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time. Cheers.